Hey there, Sovereigns. Monica Grace from cardreadingqueen.com here. This content is why the masculine doesn't take the lead and how to help him step up. So I'm basically going to be reiterating something that my friend, so there's some sirens going on outside, but something that my friend Susan Dawn from Susan Dawn Spiritual Connection, she has a YouTube channel and also Facebook and Instagram if you want to look her up, also a website. So my friend Susan, who I talk about a lot on this channel, she recently posted a video, and I think her message, so I'm going to link to the video below, but I think her message was really important, and so I told her I want to do like my own video to kind of share my insights on her message. So this is basically going to be my own words and my own verbiage around something that she recently shared about inner union. And again, like, you can definitely check out her video on this, because I think it's going to like add to your understanding of what I'm about to say. So the gist of it is the feminine, especially on the twin soul journey, can start to feel very frustrated with her masculine and questioning why she's doing all the inner work, but her masculine never takes the lead on things. So it doesn't reach out to her, doesn't respond, that sort of thing. So some of the energy around that is around that feminine is like, why do I always have to reach out? Why am I always the one doing all the inner work? Like, why is my masculine not doing inner work? What if I get rejected again? So this is a big one, and a lot of times it's from a place of like, my twin soul, like I reached out and my twin soul didn't respond. I reached out and my twin soul, gave like a short response. And it's like a frustration around rejection, or like I asked my twin soul to do something and he didn't do it. And then the question of like, why is my higher power calling me to move the connection forward when my twin soul hasn't really done anything to move the connection forward, or like hasn't done enough to move the connection forward? So the feminine in this scenario wishes that the masculine would reach out, that the masculine would really just respond to anything she said. So like respond to invitations, respond to messages, respond to her like frustration or anger, that the masculine would make plans, so like that they would step up, that the masculine would quote unquote do his share in the relationship. So what she was explaining was that she was basically explaining how the masculine and feminine energies work in the union. And so the union is comprised of masculine and feminine counterparts, and that each of those counterparts have the union's masculine and feminine energies within them. So the masculine and feminine counterparts, what some people don't understand is that they're just a physical representation of the union's energy, the two energies in the union. And those two energies in the union are represented within the masculine and then within the feminine. And so, as the feminine, for example, I have the masculine and feminine energies of my union inside me. And the masculine side of that is going to be on the outside of me through my masculine. So that's how I'm going to experience it. And so I can really always do a check-in on like how the masculine energy is within me by looking at my masculine on the outside. So the same is true for the feminine. So the masculine energy inside you manifests into your reality as your divine masculine, and then the feminine energy inside your masculine manifests into his reality as you. So the two of you are representations of your individual inner realities. So when your higher power sends you a little intuitive hit that encourages you to reach out to your masculine again. And you've done this a bunch of times already, you feel, and you're kind of sick of it. So it's because your higher power, which you can call God, source, spirit, the universe, or your creator, is working with the masculine energy in your union. So your higher power is always working to bring the two of you together. It's a very supportive energy for you guys. And your higher power wants the two of you to unite in the physical. And so your higher power is going to use the masculine energy in your union to try to bring that together in the physical. So God can access that masculine energy of your union through your twin soul, your masculine, but can also access it through you, because it's literally the same energy. The same energy of your masculine is literally within you. And so, really, your higher power, so like God, the universe, whoever, can work with that energy, within either of you to bring the union closer. So, what'll happen is, and the reason is because you guys share that energy, and you make the same core choice. So if you respond to that intuitive hit and take action, then your masculine also makes that same choice and also takes action. So your twin soul is going to take action because of the mirror and the core choices that you both make. And so what if, so this is why the feminine will get lots of intuitive hits to reach out, and why the masculine, it's not really why the masculine doesn't, but it's really like, if the masculine doesn't take action, then your higher power can access the union through you. So then it doesn't really matter. Basically, it doesn't really matter which of the two of you takes the action, if that makes sense. And to the universe, it doesn't matter. So that's why sometimes the feminine gets stuck in quotes, taking more of the action. And to believe as the feminine, to believe that you're doing all the work, it's believing that the energy at the core is not the same exact energy. So it's creating separation for you. So that's all fine and good, but what about reality, where you are the feminine and you feel super rejected by your masculine, and you're wondering, like, what if my twin soul has already rejected me a ton? Like, why do I have to do it still? So first of all, if they have blocked you, or if they've asked you to stop speaking to them, I encourage you to just honor that boundary, because that boundary, even though it feels like horrible to you, it's actually a blessing. And that boundary is there because the universe needs it to be there, or God needs it to be there, in order to protect the union. So if they have blocked you or asked you to stop speaking to them, it's because if you cross those boundaries, you're going to slow down the union. And so definitely always respect that. Always respect boundaries in the physical. Any boundaries placed in the physical from your twin, respect it and do your inner work instead in order to heal that. And then the boundary, once you are in a better place energetically, the boundary gets lifted. So honor the boundary if it's there, first of all. But what if the rejection is more casual? So what if, like, you've reached out and they've really just made you feel like a burden, or made you feel like they don't want to talk to you, or you've reached out and they've ignored you. That's a big one. You've told them how you feel about the way they're treating you, and nothing has really changed in the physical. So you feel like, this is pointless. You've asked them to step up and they haven't. So these are all different forms of rejection that are more casual than like the block or the please stop speaking to me, or leave me alone type of rejection. So the reason that, so I totally understand all that rejection and how painful it is. Like, I have compassion for that. And the reason you would want to try again is because of presence. And so presence is really believing that only the present exists. So releasing the past and releasing the future. And so the reason that presence is so important on the twin soul journey is that you are growing quickly, and so is your twin. And you guys can, if you're growing quickly, you have to trust that so is your twin. And so as the two of you grow very rapidly, you are becoming new people very quickly. So even like a couple weeks ago, you're a different person and you respond to things differently than you did because you're doing so much healing work. Your twin soul is the same way. So if your twin soul rejected you in the past, it's very easy to hold on to that. But what you have to remember is that they are a completely different person than they were even a couple weeks ago because of all the work that the two of you are doing. The old version of your twin, so the old version of you no longer exists. The old version of your twin also no longer exists. And you have to release that old version of them, both the negative and the positive. So you have to release like every way in which they rejected you before, and you also have to release every way in which they didn't reject you. Because I see that a lot too, where it's like, well, before they like always responded, or before they said they would do this and then they did it, and I don't understand why things have changed. So I see that a lot too, or like before they said or did this. You have to release all of that, release all past versions of them. You also have to release all future versions of them. You have to release your attachment to like your perfect twin soul who like makes you breakfast in bed and like gives you a back rub or like whatever. Like, you can still want those things. You can still desire the two of you to get to that place, but right now you have to release that. So I see that a lot too, where it's like, where it's kind of like, as the feminine, you're like, I know we're going to end up together. Like, why can't we just get there right now? Or like, I know this love is like bigger than anything else. Like, why can't he just accept it? And so it's really about that the masculine and feminine get triggered differently. And I did a separate video and podcast episode about that. So definitely check that out. You can check it out on my podcast, Your Twin Soul Journey, or on cardreadingqueen.com/YouTube, which is a link that goes to my YouTube channel. You can check it out in either of those places. Also on my blog, cardreadingqueen.com/blog, if it's up there. So it's really that the masculine and the feminine get triggered differently, and the masculine gets triggered by the feminine's desires that they can't meet, where the feminine gets triggered by the masculine's actions that they either take or don't take. And the two of you are just getting triggered differently. And really both of you are getting triggered by this situation. And so one of you has to choose to change the pattern of it. And the way that the feminine changes the pattern is to release the past version of their masculine and also release that future version of their masculine that they want to get to. So this is a literal belief in miracles to release both of these, release both the past and the future. If only the present exists, that means that it's perfectly safe to reach out to them again, because all of the rejection that you've had already doesn't exist anymore, and you're effectively reaching out to a completely different person than that person who rejected you in the past. So this is a way to move your twin soul journey forward. And as you do this work, then your masculine also shifts energetically. So as you release the past and future versions of your masculine and you just focus only on the present, the energy is going to go back into flow. So because there's no expectations on the feminine's end, there's no pressure on the masculine's end. There's lots of forgiveness happening, so that really opens up the energy. that belief in miracles that I was talking about, that opens up the energy. So the belief that like the masculine can be a totally different person than the person that they have been to you, that can open things up. It allows your higher power to do the work, because ultimately you have to do your inner work, but you know, how you and your twin come together, that's up to your higher power. That's up to like God, the universe, source, spirit. And maybe you can hear the cars honking again in the background. Yeah, my window is open right now in my office because it's just too hot up here. I'm on the 3rd floor, so has to be there, and that's why it's so loud. It also, so it allows your higher power to do the work, and then it's really a form of surrender and trust in your higher power. And so that's kind of the last piece of that, for that energy to open up. So this is why the masculine doesn't take the lead, and how you can help him step up. It's really to just make the choice to follow your intuition in reaching out. Even if you've been rejected a bunch of times, it doesn't matter, because that rejection is from a person in the past. And if your masculine is not changing, this can also, if you're changing a bunch and your masculine is not changing, then reaching out to them can show you that, and can show you that they're not your twin soul. Like maybe they're a false twin, so you're then able to release them more easily. So I hope this was helpful to you. Wanted to give a quick update on my books. I have a book called Your Twin Soul Journey that's coming out, and I've decided to break that book up into a number of books. So I'm doing the book I think that you'll be interested in, if this episode was interesting to you, is a book about inner union. So it's going to be talking about masculine versus feminine, and trying to help twin souls understand the dynamics between the masculine and feminine, because not only do they get triggered differently, because like on the surface it looks very chaotic, and the masculine and feminine, they almost trigger each other perfectly on the surface. That causes like all this chaos and communication in their relationship, but energetically they're matching. And so this book just goes deeper into balancing the masculine and feminine within the union. And then it also goes into shifting from distorted masculine to divine masculine, and shifting from distorted feminine to divine feminine. And as you shift those distorted and toxic patterns, you come closer into union. So I hope this was helpful to you. Definitely check out my books. They're going up on pre-order soon, finally. And I'll have more information about that on my podcast, Your Twin Soul Journey, on my YouTube channel, cardreadingqueen.com/YouTube, and on my blog, cardreadingqueen.com/blog, and probably my social channels as well. I'll probably post about that. So the information will go up soon. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.